it can feel lonely to be somebody who sees a bit more, where you notice things that people miss, or you think about things that they never will, and you feel everything at a deeper level. And other people might say that this awareness that you have makes you special, but it doesn't always feel like that. A lot of times it can feel like you're the odd one out, like something is wrong with you, and you can't really switch it off or ignore it because it's always there. And here's what I want you to know as somebody who has gone through this. There's nothing wrong with you. And in this video, I will show you why that awareness that makes you feel like you don't fit in and something is wrong with you actually can be one of the best things about you, and what happens when you finally stop running from it. So let's talk about what it is, because I don't think you need to have another video where you're being called special or unique because you are more aware, or you might be able to see more or notice more than people around you. I know that for me, I was very aware. Usually I say I was aware enough, young enough, where I was very, very early teenager when I started to notice certain things, certain patterns about myself, where I could see that it seemed like others were just living or being, and I would notice these patterns. I would notice some of the anxiousness, some of my insecurities, and some of my behaviors, and how I would be holding myself back or getting in my way, and kind of really I just became very aware of my thoughts, of the way I would show up, and how there were some situations or scenarios where I would be holding myself back or getting in my way. And it would be hard to be in conversations with people because very early on, I started to look for answers. I was trying to literally, it started with what is wrong with me. So I got into psychology, into mindset, into self development, all of those things when I was very early, like teens. And I would read the books. I would do a lot of exercises. I would kind of analyze things. I would look at all kind of stuff like body image, limiting beliefs, like subconscious. There were so many things that I was looking into, mainly to look for answers for myself. But also along that journey, I started to learn a lot. I wanted to share it more. And at the same time, people that I would talk to, they weren't really into that. They literally just wanted to be teenagers. I started to see much more than people around me. I started to think much deeper. I started to be more considerate, and I would question things more, where it felt like whenever I would bring it felt like I had to dull down, or I had to show only part of me that was acceptable instead of showing the full me and all the things that I was into and bringing up all these questions that I had. It felt like I could bring only fraction of that to the conversation, where soon enough, I just learned not to bring any of it, and I kind of felt alone in my interests, in my passions, where I would mainly just literally go to cafe and study psychology, and and I would look for many answers. I would fulfill that curiosity in me, but I didn't really have any people in my life that I felt that I could have those conversations with, or that I could share those lessons and insights and all the things that I was going through. And also with this, I was living a lifestyle that many people my age didn't really have or understand. I would be waking up at 5 a.m. every single day, doing my own programs that I was putting together. Mainly it was coming from insecurities because I thought I'm not good enough at basketball, so I had to work extra. So that's what I did. I would every single day, all year long, whether it was raining or snowing, didn't matter. I would be up at 5, out of the door, do my run, do my workout. I had my notebook in which I had all the exercises written up. I had my timer and everything that I had set up for my workouts. That's how I started my day before I went to school. And I would also be reading a lot of books that were not like fiction. Most of it that I read was nonfiction or even like science literature. For the longest time, I felt like something is wrong with me, but also the lifestyle that I lived and the interests that I had, they felt very aligned with who I was. So it was this interesting dynamic that I went through, where I knew that I was doing things that were my passion, that I was into, but at the same time, I felt like I didn't really fit in, or something, or it would be communicated to me that something is wrong with me. There's more times than I can count that somebody has called me crazy, and they still do to this day, but now I welcome it as a compliment. But back then, it didn't feel like a compliment. It felt like something is wrong with me. So I just want you to know that you're not imagining it. If you're somebody who feels like you don't fit in, or you identify or you're aware of certain things that in which you think differently, you see things differently, it doesn't make you broken. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. You're just different, and you might not have found the right or the place where you fit in or where there are people that get you or understand you yet. But it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. Just because more people have interests that you don't have, it doesn't mean anything about you. They're just different. That's it. That's the only conclusion to come to, is they're different and they might not have the interests that you have, and that's okay. You don't have to become them, and they don't have to become you. You just need to acknowledge that you are different. It's easier said than done, because for me, that was not the route that I went, because the longer you are in that environment, especially if you are feeling like you're the only one, it can start to feel that it's easy to go to that conclusion that, well, I must be the problem. Something must be wrong with the way I think, the way I look at things, the way I approach life, or the way I make decisions. So maybe I need to go and try to fit in. Maybe I need to go and adjust myself so that I become more like the majority, even if maybe deep down, it doesn't feel right for you. It's hard to navigate it when you are in it, because it can feel very, very lonely to kind of go and trust your gut. I think it's one of the things that I'm very, very proud of, that I didn't follow the crowd. I didn't try to fit in, and I embraced my own interests, my own little weird habits that I was working on, or my 5 a.m.s, or whatever I was doing at the time. I'm very glad that I stuck with it and that I kept doing it, because it just felt right for me. It didn't have to feel right for anybody else. It just felt right for me. But then as I was growing up and having more growth, more development, I kind of started to get into this mindset that I don't need anybody. And there's a distinction to make here, because there's two different ways how you can go about not needing anybody. One is more unhealthy one, where you're trying to prove that you don't need anybody, that you're independent, that you are this strong person who doesn't need anybody. And I don't think it's healthy way to approach it. And also, I don't think you really gain much from it, because you're trying to prove, like, what is it that you're trying to prove? That you don't need anybody. Like, what is it that you actually are trying to prove? It's kind of like, because you are not accepted, now you're trying to prove that, well, I don't need you. And I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's necessary. I also don't think that it's healthy to be in a place where you need somebody. And that's where it's about that second kind of way of not needing anybody, which is the healthy way, where you are so self-sufficient, you love yourself, you can fulfill yourself, and you are in a place where you don't feel this need to have somebody else. If you have people coming in your life, you welcome them and you appreciate them, but it's not like you need them. And I have had many conversations with people about this, where I feel like it's hard to explain it until you are in that place, because it's not like that you don't need anybody, like the first example, that you push people away. I don't need anybody, which a lot of times it's actually fear of letting people close you and be seen as your true real self. In this case, it's more so this, like, you're in this healthy space where you don't need somebody. But if somebody is aligned, if somebody is, if you feel connection with those people, you're like-minded, you welcome them in your life. So it's not like you push people away and you try to prove you don't need anybody. You're just not in a place where, for you to feel good about yourself, you need somebody else. Also, I think it's important to mention that having that time when you don't fit in and you don't really have like-minded people or friends that understand you or get you, there's something beautiful about that time where you actually have space and time to go and explore, go and work on yourself, go and start new hobbies or do new things, or just go deeper into your passions and interests. That's the place where a lot of times you're actually going to end up meeting those like-minded people when you go to different events, or you might even travel, you might go to some sort of like classes or conferences or whatever within the area or topic that you're interested in. And that's where you're actually going to find more of those people. But there's nothing bad about being in that season where it's kind of like this no man's land where you're just by yourself and there's nobody that really gets you. It can be lonely initially until it's not, but that it can be hard to navigate, but it's one of the best times where you have this full freedom to just go explore, learn, and be with yourself and get to know yourself and what you truly value. I don't think I would be as clear in who I am, what I like, what I value if I didn't have a lot of time with myself as I was going through these periods and these transitions of having no people that I could relate to or that I would feel understood by. That's where a lot of times I would have to go within and I would have to try to understand, like, what is it that I find viable? What do I find interesting? What can I do? What can I explore? And through those experiences, that's where I actually found a lot of answers. And naturally with time I just started to attract very, very different people in my life. And that relationship with yourself is the only relationship that nobody can really take away from you. People leave, seasons change, you move countries. There's many things that happen throughout the life. And really the only very, very constant and stable relationship that you have for sure is the relationship with yourself. So you might as well just go and work on it, build it, and spend more time with yourself. And the stronger will be your relationship with yourself, the less lonely you will feel. And that's been a big breakthrough for me, where I have gone through having no friends, or let's say having no real close friends and feeling lonely, to being somebody who doesn't really have real friends, and I'm fine. I moved to a new country. I don't know anybody there, and I'm fine because I have myself. I have built that relationship with myself where I'm not afraid, and I trust myself, and I know that I'm probably gonna find a way. And if you do stay true to yourself, if you don't detour into trying to fit in, with time, you actually will start to attract the right people. There's something about it that if you have gone through that lonely period when you're alone and you don't feel like anybody understands you, now any person that comes in your life that gets you, understands you, you instantly click with them. It feels like this huge gift because you have been walking this path alone, and you have this strong relationship with yourself, so you know that you got you. But there's something so powerful when you meet somebody, and for me, every time when I meet somebody that feels like-minded, it feels like this huge gift. Oh my gosh, you get it. It's like this instant connection. We don't even have to talk that long for us to know that we get it. and it's just something that every time, it literally gets me every time. And I think because of those experiences, I'm much more grateful for relationships that I have, and I'm much more mindful about nurturing them and being present for people in my life, checking in with them, and paying attention to the things that they share and things that they're going through. So if you are somebody that feels alone, you feel like you might even be a bit ahead of your years, or you might be outgrowing your peers, or you just see that you don't really fit in, or you just don't belong. I don't think I don't want you to think that there's anything wrong with you. I don't want you to think that this is how it's going to be forever. It's not. I felt like I will never find any friends and I'll be forever alone. But now I have some pretty cool friends in my life. And it's something that I know that it will come for you as well. Because I know that I was in the mindset and in the space where I thought that it will never happen for me. And now I'm so much more appreciative of the people that I have in my life. And those relationships also are much more real. They're not fake. They're not based in some surface level connection or interest. They're much more in depth. And I feel that's what makes them even more magical. So if you feel alone, just focus on yourself, build a relationship with yourself, embrace who you are, step into that identity, step into your interests, your passions, just go all out, live your life, and you will naturally start to attract people that are meant to be in your life.